Hello everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of my Steamworks Unity tutorial series. In this video, we're going to go over the creation of some very basic UI to display your profile information, as well as the calls needed to obtain your Steam profile and picture. And then we're going to generate and display the profile picture within the UI as well. So let's get started. We're going to just add a canvas to the scene here. Start creating some UI here, just so we've got somewhere to put our information about ourselves and our friend list here. So I'm just going to create, we'll go with at the top here, a small panel. User display. And within there, I'm going to create a raw image. And this is going to be the image of ourselves, that we pull from Steam. Call this user image. And pop that. I will also create some text just to display our Steam name as well. Use Text Mesh Pro here. Steam name. Come back here. You know what? Put this flat here. Increase this in size. Just move it over here, and I'm just creating something very basic. Obviously, when you guys are making your game, you can design it however you'd like here. What we'll do is with Steam calls, we will. So last session there, when we initialized the Steam Manager, we just did a quick call to get our name to confirm that we're actually connected to Steam and are able to use the API calls successfully. What I'm going to do is create a new function here. Let's see, get display information. And what we'll also end up doing here, I'll create a serialized field just for our Text Mesh Pro and our image so that we can access and update those. Using TMP Pro. That way we can access the Text Mesh Pro classes. Mesh Pro UGUI. That's just going to be our user display name. And I'll do the same. Grab a raw image. Our avatar image here. So what we'll do, getting display information, we are going to grab the user display name, text, equal to our Steam friends persona name, which is exactly the same call that was done up here when we're doing our testing. So next we're going to want to grab our Steam Pictures ID. So there's not necessarily a specific call, but you can just say to grab steamfriends.getPersona.picture. Grab the ID of the image. To steamfriends.get, and we're going to grab the medium friend avatar, which is our image, and user get Steam ID. So all that together, we now have the ID of what our avatar image is. And just in case, say we don't actually have an image, just a bit of error checking there. How Steam does it there is if it ends up equaling to 1, if it equals -1, we'll just return it. Otherwise, we have our image, user display image equal to image data. We're going to have to use this image ID and get the image from Steam. So in order to do that, I'm actually going to create a new function. And this is actually a function that I've used that I found online there that's openly available. So I'm not going to take credit for it here. I'll return this as a texture 2D. And get Steam image as texture 2D. And that's going to be, we'll call it image ID. Okay, so texture 2D, texture set to null. Make sure that the image that we're getting back actually exists. So it's valid to Steam utilities get image size. And what we're going to do is provide it the ID, and then we'll go out int height. Just like giving those underscore there. All right, so if it's valid, what we'll do is we will declare a byte array. And we are going to set its dimensions equal to the width that we got for that image's size times the height. So times 4. And we are multiplying this by 4, just because there's 4 color channels. RGBA. And so I'm going to go cast this as an int. Oops. And again, even on the Steamworks.net on their GitHub as well, they've got examples of how to do this too, which is very similar to how we're doing it as well. So after we've gotten the size of our array, we need to declare a byte array. What the image byte array and be that byte array size there. So you verified that the image size is valid. We'll do a verification on if it is valid as well. Size, nope, I'm going to go get RGBA. And we're going to get the image ID, our byte array, and our byte size. So if that worked, and there's no problems there, we can then take that texture we declared earlier and create a new texture 2D. Width, height, format is going to be texture format. At RGB, yeah, right there, 32. And then for now, we'll just be giving it a false and true for linear here. And it's not happy with that because it is expecting some ints. Int there. Cast it as an int there as well. And now that we've got all the byte data in there, we go texture dot raw texture data. The image we have. And then dot apply. Okay. And yes, at the very end, we will return the texture we created there. All right. So now that we've got that function set up, we'll just assign our user display image texture of it to the texture 2D we return by making these calls here. Right after this, what we do is instead of printing off a name every time, we will instead get display information. Okay. And yes, of course, we'll also need to assign the image and the EMP here as well in order for this to work. So now, in theory, this should work, which perfect it does. Oh, you can see my image, and you can also see my persona name there too. One other thing to note, you notice there my image is actually upside down, and with this implementation, just because of how it's being read in, you set the Y the image to -1. Now it should pop up in the right direction, which it does. There's lots of documentation on how a lot of this stuff works here. There's even a lot of example projects available too. A lot of this comes straight from examples that they provided, Steamworks.net examples, even some test examples too, and even the function that I was just showing you there. They have an example right here that does basically the exact same thing. So if you ever want to look into it a little bit more, see what else is out there, for sure look at their GitHub. Another good source of information is their documentation. It, again, as they keep mentioning there, it's one-to-one with the Steamworks.net SDK there. The only caveat to this documentation here is that it will show you the examples in C++. So if you're familiar with C++, not really too much of a problem. But if you are not as familiar with C++, it might be a little bit more difficult. But all the documentation on all the different API calls is still there and good to use still. It's helpful regardless. So we will next move on to creating just a simple friends list as well. Let's display all the friends we have.